What's up, everybody? It's your boy Blue here. This week we are going back into the realm of Blue's Budget Battle Brews. I have some customer requests that were made, and a lot of them. So it's been a busy couple of days, roughly about a week or so now, that I got 6 requests for decks. So this is deck 1 of a 3-parter for the first customer. So the request came in for budget decks, but they wanted them specifically done, Pioneer formatted, and each individual deck had a different color theme, different theme to it. So this is deck 1 of those 3, and this week and the next 2 weeks I'll be releasing those videos as I go. And we're going to do those, and then I got more decks to do after that were requested as well, one of them being a commander deck and one of them being just a regular kitchen table deck. So let's get started on this deck, and we'll go over everything here. There will be no upgrade sections for these decks, though. I will try to give some information on how to upgrade them as I go through the deck, if I remember to. So, deck 1 was a request for a Dinosaur Tribal big creature style Pioneer deck. Okay, this deck will actually see play at some tournaments at some point in a local game store, I'm sure. I've already explained that these are going to be, fun to play, which is what they wanted. But I'm not 100% sure how well they'll hold up. I know that there'll be a rogue deck, so I'm going to wait for them to give me the information. So, I was given no information other than dinosaurs, big bodies, all that stuff. I originally started this deck as green-red, quickly realized with what I had that green-white was the better option, and this card here is the reason why. So, it's Kinjali's Caller. It's a 1 to cast, so it was the 1-drop. Now, I couldn't find a good 1-drop in red-green that I had that would fit what I needed. So what I needed was to get the cost of all the creatures down. Well, Kinjali's Caller, it's an 0-3, so the benefit there is that it has a big butt. So against other aggro decks, it has the ability to block, stay alive, and continue to block, while also reducing costs for bigger creatures later. If I'm not mistaken, I also believe that Lightning Bolt isn't in Pioneer, so that's a good thing too. So it can't just be lightning bolted off the board. But as I said, the main ability is that it makes all your dinosaurs cost 1 less to cast, and as you can tell, besides just Dinosaur Tribal, this is also heavy dinosaurs. So like normally I'd build decks where they're a little more even, 20-20-20, where it's 20 creatures, 20 spells. This one's a little different. So I got a play set of those just because I want to get the cost down as much as possible. Now I know that there is a red one and a green one. I didn't have a lot of them or enough to make it worth it. Plus, their casting cost was not gelling with what I had going on. I like the 1-drop, 0-3, so it can block and also be a reducer. 2-drop was kind of hard. 2-drop, I chose Drowsing Brontodon because it's a 3-3, and it has Defender, but it has the ability to stop being, affected by Defender as long as you control a creature with power 4 or greater. And in this deck, that will happen. So then it's a 3-3 for 2 with no drawbacks. So I got a play set of those in there. That was my 2-drop. 3-drop's a little more diverse. First up is ranging Raptors. 3 to cast, 2-3. So right there, the stats are not bad. It's a 2-3. It at least can survive a lot of things. It has Enrage, and Enrage means that whenever it is dealt damage, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. That is key. Have to get as many lands into play as possible, as much cost reduction as possible, so you can get those big guys out quickly, all right? I only have 2 of them in there because I didn't have more than 2. So the first upgrade I would look at is if you do have more or you find more, get them in there, because the more opportunities to get land out of your deck means you have better draws later and you can cast more things. Other 3-drop, Thrashing Brontodon, so it was 2 green and 1. It's a 3-4, so an even better body than the Raptors. And it has the ability of paying 1 and sacrificing it to destroy an artifact or enchantment. Usually not that relevant, but you never know what you're going to face. So the fact that it's there as a possibility to get rid of something that's a game changer on the other side, always a bonus. I got a play set of those in there. First rare of 6. This is different than my normal budget brews. This deck was actually, I forgot to tell you, the budget was actually between 30 and 40, and all the decks I made actually hit up or down about $1 to the 30 mark. I try to keep them as cheap as possible. Shifting Ceratops is the first of 6 of the rares I chose. It's a 4-drop. It's a 5-4, so good cost to power and toughness. It can't be countered, always good. And then it has Pro Blue or protection from blue, which means it can't be, and the term for it is Det, D-E-B-T. It can't be damaged by anything. It can't be equipped or enchanted by anything blue. It can't be targeted by anything blue, and it can't be, what's D, damaged, can't be equipped, enchanted, it can't be blocked by anything blue, and then the T was it can't be targeted by anything blue. So that's how you figure out protection. That's how it works, D-E-B-T. And it's a 5/4 that has an ability as well. On top of the other two, for a green, you can give it either reach, trample, or haste until the end of the turn, and there is no limit. You can give it all of those if you want. So keep that in mind. Territorial allosaurus, again, another 4 to cast, or 4-drop. Big body, so it's a 5/5. Has a kicker for an additional green and 2. You can pay that when you cast it, and it will enter the battlefield and fight another creature. So it'll deal its 5 damage or something else, and whatever that creature's power is will deal it to him. Most likely yours will be bigger, and you'll be able to do creature removal that way. Excuse me. Next up is Thundering Spineback. It's a 7-drop, so this is why I needed the 1-drops that reduce cost. So if you have all 4 out for some reason, this guy goes from a 7-drop to a 3-drop. So it'll be 2 green and 1. It's a 5/5, and it is an anthem effect for dinosaurs. It says other dinosaurs you control get +1/+1. And then for 6, with a colon, meaning you can do it as many times as you have the mana for it, which is why ramp is so important here. You can create a 3/3 dinosaur creature token with trample. So you create a 3/3 that has trample. It's a dinosaur. Gets the buff from the Thundering Spineback, so it's actually a 4/4. And I have 2 of them in there. All right. Temple altosaur. It's a 5-drop. It's a 3/4 dinosaur like all the rest. This one has a cool ability that says if a source would deal damage to another dinosaur you control, you prevent all but 1 of that damage. So no matter how much damage they do to it, it only takes 1. Okay? Really good with enrage effects. Trapjaw Tyrant. It's a 5-drop for 5/5. So again, power toughness to convert a mana cost is pretty good. It has an enrage ability as well, which is where the altosaur actually comes into play a little bit. Whenever it is dealt damage, you can exile target creature an opponent controls until the Trapjaw leaves play. Essentially, it's like an Oblivion Ring or the fixed version. I forget the name of it, but basically it exiles an opponent's creature until he leaves play, meaning that it can't block, attack, or do any of its abilities. Zetalpa Primal Dawn, so it's a 8-drop. It's 2 white and 6. It's a 4/8 with a lot of abilities. It has flying, double strike, vigilance, trample, and indestructible. So once it hits the board, it's pretty hard to remove. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there's 1 exile effect in white and maybe 1 or 2 in black in Pioneer, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a big Pioneer builder, so I'm not sure, but I think that means that he's pretty hard to get rid of. And double strike means he can deal 8 damage, and if you buff him up again, he can deal 10, and so forth. All right. I believe we're on the last creature, Belligerent Brontodon. So again, a big body. It's a 4/6 for 7. With reduction in cost, you can get him all the way down to a 3-drop. However, his ability of making each creature you control assign combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power is pretty big in this deck. So, for instance, Kinjali Caller is not a dinosaur. Oh, wait, it doesn't have to be dinosaurs. Look at that. So now it's a 1-drop 3/3. All right. What else we got in here? Thrashing Brontodon now does 4 damage instead of 3. You see where I'm going here? The only one that's not affected very well is Shifting Ceratops. The rest of them are either even, which is their 5/5s, or they're 3/4s, which means that they get a buff by 1, or in the example of Zetalpa Primal Dawn, a double striking 8/8 is pretty much game. Okay? So that's a play set of those, because you want that out. This is the last creature. All right. We'll finish it out with the board wipe guy. So Awakening's Sun's Avatar is 8 to cast, so if you got some way to reduce that cost with the Kinjali's Callers, you can get it all the way down to a 4 to cast, or a 4-drop. It's a 7/7, and when he enters the battlefield, if you've cast it from your hand, which obviously that's what you want to do here, you destroy all non-dinosaur creatures. It's a board wipe for everybody but you, and most likely, since this is going to be played in a Pioneer tournament, it's going to be a 1v1, so there you go. Non-creatures, we have Commune with Dinosaurs. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You can reveal either a land or a dinosaur, whichever one you need at the time. Put in your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So we got a playset of those, and it's only 1 to cast. So if your opening hand doesn't have a Conjali's Caller or anything that you can cast, or if you need a land to help your opening hand, but you have a commune with dinosaurs, you can get either or. Next up is Thunder Herd Migration. So I needed to get a little bit more ramp in here. I don't have enough in here, and if there was a way to upgrade it, this is another option to go, which is add 2 more of these, and obviously take out whatever's not working for you. It's a 2-drop, or it's a 2 to cast, sorry, and as an additional cost to cast it, you either reveal a dinosaur in your hand or you pay 1, so it can make it 3 to cast. And then you search your library for a basic land and put it into play tapped, and then shuffle your library. So a little bit of ramp. That's true ramp because technically it's 2 to cast in this deck, so it's really nice. And then you get to put it into play, so it helps you get there faster. I only have 2 again. I would suggest 2 more if you can find them. I can't find any. Savage Stomp. So dinosaur theme. All this is on target. Everything in here is just dinosaur, dinosaur, dinosaur. 3 to cast. But if it targets a dinosaur you control, it's just 1 to cast. And then you put a +1/+1 counter on the target creature you control. And then it fights target creature you don't control. So it buffs up one of your dinosaurs for the most part. Costs 1 to cast for a 1/1 counter. And then it can kill an opponent's creature. All good stuff. Play a set of those. And then the lands are pretty basic. And the reason for that is that on a $30 budget, sure, it's a little bit more than 20, but unfortunately I put all that into the deck rather than the lands. And there are things that you can do to upgrade the lands that are cheap, but not enough to, I mean, you've got the, I don't remember what they're called, the check lands. Check lands are a good way to do it. I don't have enough of them to make a full deck out of for other people. I don't even have enough for myself. But they're like $4 or $5 a piece, and when they come into play, you either put them into play tapped if you, or you put them into play untapped if you have one or the other. So in this deck, it would be the one that comes into play tapped unless you control either a plains or a forest. Don't remember the name of them off the top of my head. I haven't played them in a while. So for now, we'll go with the budget, and that's 4 Blossoming Sands. They come into play tapped, but they give you a life. At least helps you give a little bit of lasting power. And they tap for a green or a white, and then the rest is just forest and plains, just to finish out the deck. So that's the first deck of the 3, and I will be doing the other videos in a little bit. I'll be putting them up on the channel, just like this one is. And the person who has purchased it will be able to view them. But if anybody's looking to make a deck like this, here's your way to do it. Really cheap, and it's more fun than anything else. It's not like a competitive style, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. So that's what I got for you this week. Do me the favor, you know, like the video. I know that I put a little bit of effort into some of these things, and I'd like to have some likes come up on here for that. Share the video out to anybody who may be looking to build a dino deck. You can take some of the things in here and some of the stuff I've told you how to build it to make it a little bit more strong. Or if somebody wants to buy a deck like this, I can make this again, I believe, or at least similar to it, but I'll be doing it in $20 version instead of a $30. And then we'll go from there. And then subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I don't see why you wouldn't have yet. I have some good stuff out there. And you can say all of it. And anytime I put something new up, you can take a look at that too. And I've got a lot planned. So do all those things for me, and I would appreciate it. And then other than that, that's my time for the week. I will talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.
Do it! Do it!